In Omaha, Nebraska, in August 2013, Nikko Jenkins killed 4 individuals in a 10-day period. Later, he claimed that he committed the murder in order to appease the snake deity Apophis of ancient Egypt, who had instructed him to do so, and he is currently incarcerated on death row. After more than 10 years in jail for carjacking, Nikko Jenkins, then 26 years old, was eventually released in July 2013. But he committed the 4 murders for which he is now on death row just a month after being freed. Juan Uribe Peña and Jorge Cajiga Ruiz, 2 strangers who were sitting in their car, were shot randomly by Jenkins on August 11. They were then robbed. This was followed by the first 2 murders. The sole victim Jenkins knew because they had crossed paths in prison was Curtis Bradford, who passed away from gunshot wounds in a garage on August 19. On August 21, Jenkins shot Andrea Kruger on the street, and she passed away. Nikko Jenkins made the police job simple when they apprehended him on August 30 on a separate charge of making terroristic threats, but they already had surveillance footage and ballistics evidence linking him to the Kruger killing, so he just started confessing a few days later. Jenkins asserted that the 4 fatalities were a sacrifice to the Egyptian snake god Apophis throughout these 8-hour-long meandering admissions. Jenkins eventually broke down in tears as he explained to detectives that he only wanted to get treatment for the various mental illnesses he claimed to have had, illnesses that he also claimed the Nebraska Department of Corrections had ignored throughout his time in prison. This was after confessing to the other murders as well. He subsequently went so far as to launch a $24.5 million lawsuit against the state of Nebraska, but it was never successful. In it, he alleged that they had mishandled his mental problems while he was incarcerated and had let him out too soon. Less than a year after telling detectives he had committed the murders, on April 16, 2014, Nikko Jenkins entered a plea of not guilty to the charge of first-degree murder. Psychiatrists who were appointed by the court soon came to the conclusion that Jenkins was ineligible to face trial. He tried to tattoo the number 666 on his forehead in April 2015. He carved the word Satan into his face on June 27, 2015, and then he shaped his tongue like a snake. Jenkins also claimed to have been listening to the voice of Apophis in September 2015 when he cut his penis into the shape of a serpent. Even though Nikko Jenkins had long histories of mental health issues, the courts ultimately decided that he was competent to stand trial despite these incidents. Nikko Jenkins went on trial in 2014. He defended himself during the trial and displayed odd behavior, such as laughing while his crimes were being narrated and speaking in tongues. He was found guilty in April, but officials postponed his punishment so they could assess him psychologically and make sure he could comprehend the current procedures. They later came to the conclusion that he deserved the death punishment.